I want to talk about a subject called situational awareness. Now, I've spoken about this in the past, maybe a year or two ago, but it's good to keep your brains refreshed and keep these things in mind, especially since all these shootings and all this other stuff, and the world's pretty much going to shit right now, and everybody's going crazy. Situational awareness, being aware of your situation and everything around you at all times. Some of us have it from formal training, some of us it's embedded into our brains. Others don't pay too much mind to it, but you should. So, what do we mean by situational awareness? When you're out in the store, you're out and about, be aware of what's around you. Me, I'm always watching around me at all times, wherever I am. I'm watching everybody and everything. When you're in a store, a supermarket, you're walking around by the beach, I don't care what state you live in, whether it's open carry, concealed carry, no carry, anti-gun, pro-gun, whatever, it don't matter. There's always bad people looking to do bad things. It doesn't matter where you are, what the gun laws are. There's always bad people looking to do bad things. Alright? So, you're looking around, you gotta watch for people. Watch people that seem like they have nervous behavior. Watch people that sometimes that are about to do something bad, when they get nervous, they smoke. A smoker, when they're nervous, will smoke, chain smoke. Look for that guy that's sitting by himself, or a female, you never know. Both men and women do bad things. Standing by themselves, that look a little different out in the crowd. Maybe they got a look in their face, they're looking around, checking everything out. If you see somebody looking around, checking everything out, and I'm not saying they are up to no good, but they might be. You have to watch out for these things. That's what situational awareness is all about. It's not about jumping to conclusions. It's about being aware and being mindful of what's going on in your surroundings. That's what it's about. It's not about just jumping the gun and saying this person's doing something wrong. That's not what it is. It's being aware to keep yourself and your family safe. Things to look out for. People that seem like they're nervous. You can usually tell somebody's nervous. Seem very twitchy, very odd, looking around a lot. You see somebody and it's, 100 degrees out in the summertime and it's in the crowd and there's somebody that's looking around all the time and they got a hood over their head. It's something to keep an eye out on. Also, always watch people's hands. Very important to watch people's hand positions. Okay? You can tell a lot by how somebody's moving their hands. A lot of people are very jittery when they're about to do something wrong. People are nervous. That applies to the nervous criminal, of course. Calm criminals aren't going to show it as much, so it's a little harder to spot. But you got to watch where the hand positions are. Also, always look, see where they carry their hands, the hands in their pockets. Look if they got something in their pockets with their hands. Does it not get something in their pockets? Look for that. I hate to say this, it always sounds funny. But look for that bulge in their pockets. Look for that bulge. You never know. It could be a knife, could be a gun, could be a firearm, could be a cell phone. But you should keep an eye out for that. Me, I'm always looking. I can usually tell 9 out of 10 times if somebody's carrying a firearm or not. I can tell just by looking at them. Not hard to tell. Yeah, in the wintertime when they're wearing more and more clothing, it's harder to tell. But it is possible if you know what you're looking for. Alright? You've got to watch, for instance, one of the things that's always important to watch out for is people that are going to commit a crime, whether it be a mugging, attack, a murder, a robbery, a rape, whatever the case may be, all those nasty things. A lot of times criminals will work in teams. It happens a lot. So be mindful of your surroundings. If you see a guy over here and he's making contact with a guy across the street over there who also looks like he's watching another guy down that way, keep being mindful of that stuff. If you see that going on, you might be in a bad situation. It's something to watch out for. A lot of times criminals do not work alone. Especially people when they're looking to rob you, they do not work alone. Also, there's a lot of crackheads out there and drug addicts that are out to do bad things. Be mindful of that stuff. Those guys you really got to watch. They come up quick. Some of them have real light feet. You'd be surprised how fast and quietly a crackhead can move. But you got to watch for the jittery guys. Watch for somebody coming at you at a high rate of speed. If you're walking straight ahead and you see somebody's approaching you from an angle the other direction, and there's no reason why he should be coming from that direction, there might be a problem. You got to be mindful of that thing, those type of things. Situational awareness applies to everything. If you're driving, right? I'll give you a good example. A lot of people are driving. You've been driving for 20 plus years, however many years, unless you're a teenage driver. You're standing at a light. You look over, you're in the lane to go left. There's a left lane, a straight lane, and a right turn lane. You're in the left lane, you see the guy in the straight lane, you see his tires, you're on the left, his tires, he's in the straight lane, but his tires are turned like this. There's a good chance when that light turns green, he's going to whip around and cut you off, right? That's also situational awareness. You're being aware of what's going on around you. You got to take that same mindset and apply it to your daily life. Things can happen anywhere. It's not common, it's common sense. If you see somebody, and look, this is where people, Second Amendment people, I'm one of the biggest Second Amendment supporters I know. But I'll tell you right now, if I'm in a store and I see a guy walking in a full-on chest rig with a bunch of mags strapped to his chest and a rifle hanging over his back, I'm gonna watch. He might not be doing anything wrong, but I'm gonna watch to see make sure that I keep my family safe. 9 out of 10 times, the average individual does not walk around with a vest on or a chest rig on, a Kevlar vest on the outside, does not walk around a supermarket or something like that without bad intentions. I'm not saying that it is impossible, they don't have bad intentions, but 9 out of 10 times, the average individual does not go out dressed up in tactical gear to go pick up a gallon of milk. Not yet anyway, not in today's daily times. All right, that's not normal. So if you see something like that, there's a problem. All right. I'm not really going to go into too much super detail today. I talked to a couple people that are going to elaborate on what I'm talking about. All right. People with military training and military backgrounds, law enforcement backgrounds, tend to have a higher sense of situational awareness than the average everyday citizen. And the reason that is because of the simple fact that you're trained to be, you have to have eyes in the back of your head, the side of your head, up your ass. You got eyes everywhere, watching everything, because you're living your life knowing, walking around in your day-to-day job, you're walking around being perceived as a threat by somebody else, and you have to look at yourself, perceive yourself as a target to somebody else. So that automatically gives individuals with law enforcement and military backgrounds a higher sense of situational awareness. But everybody out there, especially where times are going these days, needs to have a heightened sense of situational awareness. Okay, you could just call it just being aware of your surroundings, being smart, paying attention to what's going on around you. I'm not saying to walk around nervous and scared all the time, but you got to be careful, especially those of you in the more urban environments and suburban environments. That's where these type of bad things really need to take place. But you got to watch people's body language. You got to listen to what people are saying. If you're walking by and you hear somebody talking about that guy over there, he's talking to his buddy, and you're in a crowd, something might be going down. Like I said, something that's really important. Watch how people walk. Watch their walking positions. Generally speaking, somebody that's going to come after you is going to approach on an angle. If you're on I'm talking about an everyday life scenario, 9 out of 10 times they don't come head on, they come from an angle. I know that sounds crazy. You don't believe me? Take your time, look it up. They come at you from an angle, or they'll come at you from behind. A lot of times they don't come at you head on. If you hear those footsteps walking up quick behind you and you're walking through the store, there might be a reason why that's happened. You got to pay attention to these things, and you got to be ready for anything. I'm not talking about jumping the gun and start throwing fists or pulling a gun or pulling a knife like that. You never want to pull a weapon unless you were 100% ready to use that weapon. That goes without being said. That's a conversation I've had in the past. We're not going to have that right now. But be prepared to defend yourself, know how to defend yourself, and be aware of all that. Okay? Be aware of those stray individuals. Have the eyes in the back of your head, the side of your head. Times are going crazy these days, guys. Everybody's going off the freaking wall crazy, doing all kinds of stupid shit. And on top of that, our Second Amendment rights are beyond under attack. They're literally that do not infringe in the Second Amendment. Well, they are being infringed upon. And I have a funny feeling that those laws are going to go in effect, and that's it. They're going to be infringed upon. So you're going to see a lot more violence. Look at prohibition. Look at those other situations in history, and the violence that goes hand in hand with making something illegal that shouldn't be illegal. I'm not going to go. That's getting off topic. I apologize. But my main point behind that is that times are tough. People are getting crazy. Times are crazy. People do crazy, desperate shit. Crazy, desperate times. And guys. You gotta watch everything. You see that suspicious person, you see that suspicious activity, be prepared to react and pay attention to it. Bottom line. That's it for today. There's going to probably be a couple other people probably going to doing VRs or some kind of responses to this. So, anyway, one last thing. This falls back to something I said a long time ago. Now it's going to be a little tougher, but everybody should take firearms training. If you plan on carrying a knife, take some knife fighting classes. Every single individual should take martial arts classes. I don't care if you don't only have time to take one class, 45 minutes, one class a week. Take that class. Take something to get something in the back of your brain, some kind of self-defense. Me, as you know, you guys all know, I hold several belts in different martial arts. I've been doing it for years. I also train people in it. I train people from cops that are regular day people to people going into the military. I still, to this day, train people. It pays to know that stuff, guys. You need to know how to handle yourself in a critical situation, in a critical violence situation. So do what you can. If you can get a concealed or open carry permit, depending where you live, get it now while you still freaking can. Who knows if they're going to take that away, which we sure know as hell know they're going to work on taking that away next. But get it while you can. Take those martial arts courses. Get yourself. It's all about education and brain power. Martial arts gives you knowledge to defend yourself, and being defend yourself renders you powerful against somebody that's trying to make you powerless. That's it. That's all I got to say on this one for today. All right, everybody. Oh, one last thing. I want to thank you all, everybody out there who's been helping support our brother Rob Painless in this this tragic time that he's going through with it. I'm not going to go too much into that again, but thank you all for helping support Rob. He's a brother to me. He's a brother to this community, and let's all still continue to keep him in our hopes and prayers. All right, everybody. God bless. God bless the United States of America. Two-way all day, baby. Don't give in. Don't be violent unnecessarily, but don't give up your Second Amendment right. All right, everybody. Stay safe, stay strong. God bless the United States of America. Love you all.